for you to be promoted into managerial position, you have to do an art course. For instance, if you are a civil engineer, you have done civil engineering in bachelor's. If you do a civil engineer as your master's degree, that doesn't change anything. In fact, you'll just move out of employment and go to class now to teach engineering. So that's why most of the engineers that do the art courses to gain the managerial aspect of leading now the other technical engineers. Another very important question raised to the chair is you have raised a question that a lot of county machinery right now that was procured, giving us the history of the county government some time back, are not working. Some are aged, not serviceable, and meaning it inhibits the moving forward and the implementation of work plans and projects in the county. And that really affects the entire county and especially the political class. Because as we had put earlier, this department is basically the primary sector and department in the entire county. And as working on this department, I would not want to fail, because I know if I fail, my mheshimiwa will be held accountable. If I fail, my governor will be held accountable. And putting my best foot forward, when it comes to issues of the machinery, we would endow with this house, engage this house, the executive, and see the way better of getting probably new machines. If they have worked for 10 years, that is quite a long time enough to retire some of them, and make those which are still serviceable to be serviced. And if it comes to servicing of machinery and getting the spare parts, we could always make it a framework contract, an open-ended one, so that we have quite a number of suppliers. And having a framework contract with suppliers doesn't put us in any obligation, because when you have a framework contract, it doesn't mean that I've given you work. I'll give you work on call. So having opening it up to have quite a number of suppliers, so that we don't have monopoly of supply. So that if we tell supplier, hey, bring this, if it doesn't have, we have options to move around and get our spares in time and get our machinery up and working. Another challenge again in the department that you raised is that would limit the implementation of the work plans is maybe I would check on the staff establishment. I understand that each and every organization, and basically the county, has its own staff establishment, telling us that in those department, for instance, it's public works, we should be having maybe 5 QS. What number do we have right now? If we're having maybe engineers, for example, civil engineers in the department, we're having 4, and maybe the staff establishment tells us that we should have 7. So meaning we are short of 3. So apart from equipping the hardware, we also have to check on our software and come and engage with this committee and the executive as well, so that we come up with budget, especially in the subsequent financial years, so that we can bring in more staff, so that our projects approvals, our BQs, the way Mheshimiwa had put it through the chair, could move very fast if we have enough QS and the public works staff. And also that would encourage us, that would really push us and enhance our absorption of the funds. Because if we have less staff, meaning a lot of our workflows will go slow and we'll be catch up with the financial year, and our absorption rate will come down. So we have to check both the machinery, the hardware, the software, the HR, and now budget on our limited resources to basically suit our priorities in guidelines now with this house at large, and specifically to this important committee for this department. You raised another question through the chair about the operators' allowances and employee motivation. I can say that across the department, as an authorized officer, I'll be in charge of my staff, that is the HR in the entire department. And motivation of employees is a key component. Private sector does it well. For example, in my CV there, you can see there is a year, 2 subsequent years, or an employee of the year, and I got really good bonuses on it. So motivation of employees is a very key if we really have to realize our goals, because these are the people who implement what we document. So we really have to motivate them. On the issue of allowances, I would promise this committee that whatever is budgeted and to whatever due, we will do justice. And that is what the policies of good governance and values direct the government officers, that we become very fair and equity for every employee. If they are supposed to receive allowances, they have to receive in time. And plant operators, for example, as the Mheshimiwa has put through the chair, these are the low cadres staff in the department. But it can be raised. You didn't raise about the senior employees, because these are the key components who help us down there. And appreciating these people, we can say it's not much, but we can be innovative and try to facilitate them. For instance, from my contractual projects that I have done in Matters Road, I understand that a well-functioning grader can grade maybe 3 to 4 kilometers in a day. So assuming we work on the lower side with our machinery at 3 kilometers per day per grader, if we have 7 graders and we are hopping in different wards, that's a cumulative of around 21 kilometers we can do in a day. So if we give ourselves target and say, for example, we want to do 100 kilometers in the county in a day with our plant, we need to see how to motivate these operators. For instance, getting them lunch in where they are operating, we facilitate their lunch, we facilitate their allowances in time, and limit the bureaucracy, especially in allowance disbursement. Because if someone is supposed to get an allowance of 5,000, why should we take like a year to process 5,000? So we have to see how we can create that maybe in like a petty cash kind of it, so that they really receive it in real time and they get motivated and promote and work much better. Again, on issue staff and motivation, we could create through the public service management department, we'd create maybe the training, the workshop to train our staff. You know, coming from private sector, you always have the minimum number of trainings that you have to undergo in every year, so that you develop yourself. You not only offer your services, but again, the employer, that is your department, or the county at large, also helps you develop in your department through maybe the trainings, the workshops, and appreciation. And appreciation. So thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I have gone through all the...
Thank you. Abraham KIPTALAM Bureti. And I'm seeing here he's a doctor of philosophy in business management and information. I'm worried because I just want to ask you to respond to questions. Because I'm seeing much of your time you are using to teach us, which... let's reserve that for another day, if God helps you through this. I'm seeing members here are very much interested to hear more from you, but we are running short of time. So just limit yourself to just giving us the response. Let me go to the General, Honorable Natui. Honorable members, so that we go fast, limit your question to 1, so that I have 3 members at a go. Limit your question to 1. If you had 2, please let your neighbor help you. Limit your question to 1, so that we have 3 members, and we move forward. Thank you, Honorable.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Noted. Mr. Abraham KIPTALAM Bureti. Are you aware that we have been causing a lot of challenges under roads department in Uasin Gishu County? Second question.
Order, Honorable Natui. Let's be strict on what we are going through. Honorable Yego. I hope you've picked that. From,
Okay.
From
Yes, yes, answer. Yes, answer. Or just one question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Honorable Thomas Yego.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. CEO, this is a docket that we all know we have a lot of interest. One, there is this challenge of fuel. And as we sit here now, this county has no fuel. I have a machine, the grader that has been in my place almost 2 weeks without fuel. Last week, I had to cough out something from my own pocket to enable me make a road that had actually caused a lot of problem. I don't know how you will help us here, because I'm very keen to get this answer, because this is a very serious problem that we have.
Thank you. Thank you.
Forgetting about the Chair, let me just, I'm not asking another question, but I'm trying to make that question at least healthy kidogo. Now, CEO, we have gone to an extent of, I've talked of fuel and even repairing this. Last month, I repaired a backhoe using my 8,000. I don't know whether I will be refunded or it will just go, and I don't know. So, CEO, please, kazi ni kubwa na tunakutegemea. Thank you.
Asante Mheshimiwa Yego. Wacha niende kwa Mheshimiwa Wachira.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. CEO, welcome once again. I have only one question. If given this position of Chief Officer, how will you ensure that your action or influence contributes towards continuous improvement of services in this county government of Uasin Gishu? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Wachira, and I want to appreciate your respect to the orders as issued by the chair. Our nominee, please respond to those 3 questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll start with the first question. If I'm aware of the challenges in the roads department. So basically, I think I'll tie it with the subsequent questions, because whatever have been raised below are the challenges. I can say I'm not aware because certainly I'm not in the department as now. But the questions raised by the 2 subsequent members are basically the challenges. And I'll respond to the best of my knowledge possible through the chair. A question raised by Mr. Honorable Yego in the issue of fuel and repairs of machines. I'll just raise through the chair saying that fuel is basically what we need to move. We can't move without fuel. And as a department, if I don't have fuel, all my operations stand still. So to sort the issue of fuel, we have to see from the origin of the problem, and that is the procurement, getting the product. From my belief is that as such an important ingredient for our department, we have to see what are the existing arrangements and could advocate that we have maybe multiply our storage of fuel and maybe decentralized. We see the number of existing storage of fuel at hand, and maybe we can decentralize to our sub-counties. We can tie to maybe 2 sub-counties sharing a storage, and that we get now the number of the wards that will share such fuel. Also, we source, and I have a framework contract, the way I put previously, I have a framework contract with a number of oil marketers. and maybe suppliers. Having quite a number of suppliers, sometimes if we are pinned maybe by a supplier in terms of maybe payments and everything, we can, with our wisdom, engage another one as we sort funds, and we'll still be receiving the fuel, and through the chair, Mheshimiwa's machinery will not stalled. So I think that's the same case as in terms of supply, repairs of machinery, the way I'd put, having a number or a streams of repairing garages and suppliers of spares will also help our work be easy, and decentralizing if it's possible to sub-counties, or maybe tying 2 or 3 counties, or sub-counties, sorry. And finally, through the chair, there is a question raised by Honorable Ashira on how I would improve the services and customer relations, the services of our customers and relationship. Improving the services that is now that we are giving to our customers, basically the wananchi for this matter, as a department, we'd have to revamp our work plans and make it realistic. We have now the short term, the long term, and the medium term work plans, sticking to now our CIDP, knowing that what are we supposed to achieve in this financial year. For instance, if we have some projects, flagship projects, which could cut across, which would take some time to be achieved, we have to bring such projects maybe to the first quarter of the financial year, so that we have time to engage with the contractor or the supplier to implement and pay until in good time. And that again will enable us to increase the absorption of our funds. The short-term project that takes very short term, we could leave it to the third and maybe the final quarter of the financial year. Also improving the customer relations and customer service, we could also involve and have a very strong customer engagement, so that we involve our customer, that is our wananchi, when we are doing our public barazas and getting feedback from them, especially when we are developing the CIDP, we get them more involved and they take charge of the projects. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, our nominee. Let's go back to, let me start by Honorable Mary Goretti, and Honorable Naomi, and Honorable Rebecca, in that order. One question each, please.
Thank you, Chair. My question to the nominee is that in the past we've been experiencing fuel theft, maybe amongst our drivers and others, the locals. What measures are you going to put in place to ensure that the fuel that has been assigned to a machine is properly or well utilized? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Naomi.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I want to congratulate Mr. Abraham for being nominated to this position of the CEO. I have one question. What would you do in circumstances where you are not supported in demonstrating commitment to the highest ethical standards? How do you reconcile being asked to pursue a policy position that might not reflect your personal values? Thank you, Chair.
Welcome, Honorable Rebecca. And thank you, Honorable Naomi. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for giving me an opportunity. Mr. Abraham, congratulations for getting this position. Chairman, our nominee has taken us too far in terms of education. I'm so impressed with the years that he has. I'm so impressed, and I would like to tell other youths outside there, including my own, to follow what he is doing. My question, Chairman, is
Honorable Rebecca. Maybe it then becomes our problem. And I heard him say that the sky is the limit. So together with that, together with what you want to ask, if the sky opens tomorrow, you being the chief officer, roads and transport, will
Thank you.
and knowing that you are young, 32 years of age, will we be in a quagmire where the department will lose the chief officer because the sky has opened? Please ask your question, Honorable.
Thank you, Chairman, for interjecting. Mr. Abraham, you know the Chief Officer of Roads is the heartbeat of all the operations. Most of the members who are elected here, it's because of the roads that were done perfectly. The governor to have a name in this county is the roads to be done. Communication of the roads is key in Uasin Gishu because it's a farming town where we want all the roads towards Uasin Gishu town to be done perfectly. I am concerned with how you will balance to make sure that this key position is given attention. I see the energy you have, what you have been doing, you have the capacity, you have the will, because the sky is the limit. And Chair of Roads, this position of Chief Officer, I can say the all interest of all 30 MCS plus the nominated, it is here and no other place. And that is why you have many friends of the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Our nominee, please respond to those. There are now 4 questions. And one of the 4 questions is asking you to see the importance of this department in relation to the 30 or to the 45 members represented here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I'll start with the first question from Honorable Mary. The question on fuel theft. As I cited earlier, fuel is a very key component for movement and working in this department. And through the chair, the way Mheshimiwa has put it, that there is a rampant case of fuel once this fuel is available and discharged to the fields and on the machines. There's a fuel theft. I'll say that on this one, from telecommunication and private sector where I operate, sometimes we have heavy machinery and we have heavy commercial vehicles, which normally operate on full tanks. And the way to control the fuel and manage the fuel, we have a software or an information system that's called fuel management that is installed on such machinery and could always tell if there is a leakage, if there is maybe now the leaking it out of such fuel. So I would say that on such a case, I would see what are the current measures, because there has to be, that has been put in place to ensure that there is no fuel theft. And maybe such measures are not be maybe 100% successful. I believe that going with the technology and putting such machinery, a very simple software system for fuel management would take us a very high in achieving high with the minimum or with the limited fuel that we shall always have. So I would employ the software and check the current existing measures and maybe strengthen so that we don't have loopholes on fuel leakages and theft. Moving to the second question through the chair from Honorable Naomi on ethical standards and ethical standards in case I'm pushed or I'm coerced to take a position that goes in hand with my values. And and personal ethics, I'll say that as a public officer, if this committee recommended me for the position, I would stick to the legal framework that guides public officers and would always try to engage and reason and listen and make a decision that is not only acceptable, but always in line with the policies that had been set by this House and maybe the constitution framework at large. Thirdly, there's a question that Chair, yourself, you raise it about the sky is the limit, and my surety that given the position and the sky opens up, I'll hold to the tenure of the office. So I can say that I am motivated to work with the public service and discharge my duty. And hoping that this committee recommended me for the position, I'd hold to the tenure of office and discharge my duties fully. And to tie with a question from Honorable Rebecca through the chair on how I would balance this key position. I would put it this way, that I'm a creative. From a corporate world, I'll use my creativity to provide solution, to provide very clear communication channels and work plans, and involve all the team members in my department, so that we can push and make sure each and every ward represented by a Mheshimiwa is not left behind in terms of rolling out our road network. And aligning it with the governor's manifesto, because if we fail and Mheshimiwa from the ward level fails, even the executive, and that is basically the governor, fails, we'll focus to implement, especially his manifesto on the Nguzo Kumi on roads, which he stated that he wants to improve the road network across the county and make so many roads as much as motorable as possible. And that will really steer the economic and planning of this entire county. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Honorable members, I'm requesting that this be the last Honorable Isaac Chirchir.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
And Honorable Saida Hassan. And Honorable Sato. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair. I want to congratulate the nominee member for appearing before this committee. I have only one question. Having worked in the private enterprise and being an entrepreneur, how will you dissociate your business in the name of companies so that we don't have conflict of interest? Having been the CEO of Public Works, Transport and Infrastructure, where the works entailing your profession has been, how will you dissociate that? And through Chair, I'm requesting that as soon as you get to office, if God open the skies, you dispose of the chunk of plant machineries that are lying all over the 3 yards of the county government, so that you can acquire workable machinery.
Honorable Isaac, your last statement, I'm afraid, is very dangerous, because I hope you could qualify it to be a personal opinion, so that it does not become a collective opinion of the committee.
Thank you, Chair. I pledge, that is my view, that they are of no use, they are of no benefits. It's a dead stock that does not help this county. I'm asking again that be disposed of.
Thank you so much. Perhaps that we will have a sitting on that to come up with a consensus on what do we do with them. Honorable Said Hassan.
Thank you, Chair. My question is to the nominee. Bearing in mind that we have, in our county, we have the executive and the county assembly. And mine is simple. Do you embrace teamwork?
Thank you so much, Honorable Saida. Honorable Sato Gilbert.
Thank you, Chair. Nafikiri si wote tumeongea Kiingereza, lakini wacha niulize Kiswahili. Nimeona umesmile sana. Pia unakasirika? Wacha niulize tu kwa sababu nilisikia nikiingia nilisikia unasema you live in Kapseret. Sikusikia vizuri. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Honorable Sato. You will have to address that amicably, the issue of emotions, and how you will handle it if it arises. Do we have, because honorable members, I don't see myself coming back to you again. Thank you so much. Our nominee, please respond to those questions as we conclude.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'll start with through Honorable Chair, the question from Honorable Isaac Chirchir. A question on conflict of interest. I'll state that if this committee recommends my or hires me, that is, I would work in accordance with the good governance policies and values. I will not be conflicted in any way as a public servant. And in any companies which I'm a director, I'll fulfill the directorship. So meaning I'll be a fully public servant for this county. You raise another question on the disposal of dead stock, the way he has put it. And through the chair, as we are directed that that will be a consultative matter. And if it comes and arises and the matter comes live, we have the legal framework under the Public Procurement and Disposal Act that will guide us. We don't have to reinvent the wheel or think our own ways. We'll just follow the legal framework of how to do such. Moving forward to the next question from Honorable Said Hassan, through the chair, raise a question if I embrace teamwork. On my opening remarks, I describe myself as a team player, and I have experience of working with teams and multiple projects as well. So I can confirm that I am a team player, and I embrace teams. And I love working with exciting people who have experience and different opinions. That will really give us a good results. I will not be the only one, the think tank of the department. I will rely on the professional, the experts on the department as a big team so that we can have results in our department. The third question through chair from Honorable Sato. Here is a question on my personality, whether I sometimes get hungry. I can say that I am a jovial person and I am emotionally intelligent. I can tell you, and it's not that every other time we smile, but we are all human and we subjected to emotions. So I'm emotionally intelligent through the chair, Mr. Honorable Sato. Finally, again, he raised another question of where I come from. I say that I come from Kapseret Sub-County, Kapseret Ward. And through the chair, I'm happy to see my MCA, Honorable Kebene in the House. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Honorable Kabane, maybe you need to affirm that now that he is happy seeing you here.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And as you said, he's a happy person and emotionally intelligent. So people from Kapsaret are very intelligent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Kebene. Thank you, Honorable members, for fronting those questions. Our nominee. I want to invite Honorable Vice Chair. Maybe she has one or two before.
Thank you, nominee, for making this far. If you're given this position, there is a concern by the residents of Uasin Gishu County that most Maram roads are not met into the required standard by the contractors who are awarded these jobs. For instance, most contractors are using soil instead of standard Maram. This comes mainly because of less supervision by the county officials. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's about you respond to that.
Through Honorable Chair, allow me to respond to the question raised by the Vice Chair on the standards of our roads done by our contractors. Basically, I'll say that most of the roads that are under the county are Class D roads and below. On checking on the standards, we could see how we can do a stakeholder involvement with our contractors to build capacity with our contractors. We engage them time to time so that because most of the contractors are our local contractors, and all way up the way Governor has put it in his manifesto is that he wants to build local businesses, and those basically as our local contractors. So we could engage them, especially in capacity building. And maybe through the House, we could come with policies such that when contractors are bidding, we ensure that maybe the supervisors of such contractors are trained maybe by the Kenya Highways and Building Technology, or whatever the authority that trains. I think it's KIHBT. We can get such policies through this committee so that all our contractors are satisfied. And all through, we have check and balances to see if they meet the required standard so that the people of Uasin Gishu can get value for their taxes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable Mr. Nominee, Abraham KIPTALAM Bureti. I did not get the advantage of hearing your opening submissions. I was handling another important matter before I just came in that rotates within the premise of this assembly. But nonetheless, I want to thank Honorable Samoe Isaac for holding brief on behalf of the chair. Let me thank also the committee members for seeing it that the business of the day runs. Our nominee, perhaps we may give you time, maybe 3 or 2 minutes, to talk to this committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
First of all, let me take this opportunity again to really say thank you for the invite to be vetted on this key sector position by this wonderful committee. Whatever I've stated and described myself, I would live to that, and I am a believer of results. And I put in my early statement and opening remarks is that I am data-driven. I would employ your data collecting tool so that we have pinpointers in our department. We could set up maybe annual roads conference we invite all our stakeholders. We have a review of what we have done, what we are short of, just emulating how the different national government agencies that does with this does in like department. Also, I'd promised this committee that if they confirm my appointment, I would really work hard to lobby for funds, not only rely on the exchequer, but go a mile with my knowledge in sourcing of funds from external donors so that we can improve and do more projects. I'm really happy to be in the midst of honorable members. And I would just leave with one prayer that I request these members to see it kindly and suitable that they consider and recommend me for appointment of this job. And I will not lay down the members, and they will be my working partners that will work together this journey, because this is a key committee. This is a key and a friend and a partner and a stakeholder of the department. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us your time, because it's also important that the members get to know exactly who is Abraham KIPTALAM Bureti, and through your engagement, we are able to make an informed assessment on what has happened in this committee. I want to assure you that the membership will be very diligent in coming up with their decision, and we must appreciate. We are appreciative again of the nature of your engagement. We thought we never thought that we would have a teacher for us today, but nonetheless, we are happy. We are happy that this process has gone through successfully. So, on behalf of the committee and the team, the support team, the secretariat, and the people at the gallery, we want to wish you well out of today's engagement, and wish you well throughout your service, hopefully to this county. Asante sana, barikiwa. Honorable members, the meeting stands adjourned. You are invited